My name is Fatma Ahmad Zai. In this semester, I will be teaching the course Diversity of Vascular Plants. So, our today's presentation is about Pteridophytes. The contents are introduction, origin and history, general features and life cycle, fossilization, methods of fossilization and types of fossils. Introduction, origin and history. The term Pteridophytes is derived from the Greek words pteron meaning feather and phyta meaning plants, which means plants with feather-like fronds. Includes a group of primitive land plants with well-developed vascular system. This group has also been referred to as vascular cryptogams and classified by Linnaeus in 1754 under the class Cryptogamia. The term is derived from the Greek words kraptos meaning hidden and gamos meaning wedded, meaning plants with concealed flowers or the plants without visible sex organs. This slide shows a representation of vegetational change brought about by a catastrophe, showing forest, wasteland, fern colonization and then back to forest. Irfan et al. Has reported 168 taxa of Pteridophytes in Khyber Pakhtunkhwa in Pakistan, which belong to 45 genera and 19 families. Many field trips were undertaken in various districts of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa and specimens of various herbaria were studied in Pakistan and from other countries. Ichler in 1883 regarded Pteridophyta as a division of plant kingdom under subdivision Cryptogamy comprising Psilopsida, Lycopsida, Sphenopsida and Pteropsida. The Pteridophytes or the vascular cryptogams are therefore an assemblage of flowerless, seedless, spore-bearing vascular plants that have successfully invaded the land. The example of Psilopsida is Psilotum. The examples of Lycopsida are Lycopodium and Selaginella. The example of Sphenopsida is Equisetum, and the examples of Pteropsida are Ophioglossum, Dryopterus and Azolla. The group has a long fossil history. It is the most primitive group that flourished in Devonian and Carboniferous periods of Paleozoic era, when tree-like forms were common and comprised the bulk of vegetation. The fossil record indicates that Cooksonia of late Silurian period of Paleozoic era, approximately 400 million years old, is so far oldest known vascular plant. Today, the group is represented by a smaller portion of plants. The general features. Habitat. The Pteridophytes grow under varied habitats. Most of them are terrestrial plants and thrive well under damp and shady conditions, while some flourish well in open grasslands, exposed dry places, or even under xeric conditions. Example, Selaginella. Sorry for the inconvenience. I'll repeat it again. Habitat. The Pteridophytes grow under varied habitats. Most of them are terrestrial plants and thrive well under damp and shady conditions, while some flourish well in open grasslands, exposed dry places, or even under xeric conditions. The examples are Selaginella, Lepidophylla, and Selaginella pilifera, etc. A few pteridophytes grow as aquatic or semi-aquatic. Examples are Marsilia, Azolla, and Salvinia, while still others are epiphytes. Example Lycopodium phlegmaria, Xylotum flaccidum, Selaginella origina, Ophioglossum pendulum, etc. Sporophytic plant body. The main independent plant body of pteridophytes is a sporophyte. It develops from the diploid zygote after fertilization and exhibits a great variation in form, size, and structure. Most of the present day pteridophytes are herbaceous except a few woody tree ferns like Dicksonia, etc. Plants are differentiated into true roots, true leaves, and true stems. However, in case of a few members like Rhinia and Xylotum, the leaves and roots are absent. Their functions are taken up by the other organs. For example, the roots are replaced by rhizoids, while the stem axis becomes photosynthetic. The primary root is short-lived. It is replaced by adventitious roots which generally arise endogenously. Plants generally exhibit dorsiventral or radial symmetry. The branching of stem may be dichotomous or monopodial. The stems bear leaves which may be small microphyllous like in Lycopodium and Aquacetum, or very large, example Pteridium, Pteris, and other ferns. All the vegetative parts possess vascular tissues organized in definite groups or steles. The steles in pteridophytes may be simple, like protostele, for example, in Selaginella and Lycopodium, siphonostele, for example, in Marsilia, dictyostele in many ferns, or even eustele, for example, in Aquacetum. The xylem mainly consists of tracheids and xylem parenchyma. The vessels are generally absent, but primitive type of vessels have been reported in Selaginella and in Aquacetum. The phloem consists of sieve tube and phloem parenchyma. The companion cells are absent. Secondary growth does not occur in most of the living pteridophytes. Reproduction. Pteridophytes reproduce by spores, which are released from the spore-bearing organ called the sporangia. Pteridophytes are vascular plants that do not produce seeds or flowers. How pteridophytes reproduce? By spore production. Sporangia produce the spores that are released into the air. How the spores germinate? When the conditions are right, the spores germinate and develop into haploid gametophytes. How the gametophyte develops? The gametophytes develop male and female sex organs in the shape of a heart. Fertilization. So how the process of fertilization takes place? Sperm swims towards the egg, relying on water to do so. This is the life cycle of a homosporous pteridophyte, for example, Aquacetum, in which a single type of spore is produced. The prothallus, which is the juvenile stage, gives rise to the gametophyte. In the gametophyte, the male and the female reproductive organs are present. The female reproductive organ is called the archegonium, while the male reproductive organ is called the antheridium. Inside the archegonium, egg is produced, and inside the antheridium, antherozoid or the sperms are produced. After the process of fertilization, zygote is produced. The zygote gives rise to the embryo, and the embryo germinates into Aquacetum sporophyte. The sporophyte has strobili, which are cone like organs which bear on special branches known as sporangiophore. Inside the at the tip of the sporangiophore, the spore bearing organs known as the sporangia are produced. Inside the sporangia, the spore mother cells are produced, which after the process of meiosis give rise to spores, and the spores germinate to form the prothallus, which is the juvenile stage of the gametophyte. This is the life cycle of heterosporous pteridophyte, for example Marsilia, in which two types of spores are produced. The small spores are known as microspores and the large spores are known as megaspores. And the microspores germinate and produce the male gametophyte, while the megaspore germinate and produce the female gametophyte. And the life cycle continues in the similar way like it was in homosporous pteridophytes.